and welcome to Biz Chats, the show where we buzz about all things business from intern to executive. As always, we're here to serve you real tips and tricks to cultivate success outside of the classroom. I'm your host, Tracy Edouard, and today I'm joined in the studio by a supreme serial entrepreneur. She's founded a string of wildly successful multi-million-dollar businesses such as Soap and Glory, Bliss, and FitFlop, to name a few. Since then, she's decided to tackle a new venture as the founder and CEO of Beauty Pie, the self-professed buyers club for beauty addicts that brings an impressive line of beauty products to consumers for a fraction of the cost. Please welcome to our show the smart, the savvy Marcia Kilgore. Welcome.
Thanks.
I'm so happy for, obviously you're from the UK.
Yeah.
And
in fact, I'm from Canada.
From Canada?
Well, no, I don't live in Canada.
But the UK, and you came all the way over here.
Just to see you.
I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you again for stopping by. And before we dive into our show, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your background and what Beauty Pie is all about.
Okay, well, I have been, like you said, a serial entrepreneur since I was really, I guess, 20.
Wow.
It always seemed easier for me to work for myself than to work for somebody else. And I always had my own ideas, and it seemed more natural to follow them. Obviously, there's a lot of hard work that goes into that, and there are a lot of uncertain times, especially when you're younger and you haven't done things before and you don't really have that direction. I didn't have a typical business school background. In fact, I dropped out of university sort of in year 2 because I had some successes and I just felt like I had to make hay while the sun shone. So in my early 20s, I started Bliss, which turned into a big spa group that I sold to LVMH when I was 29. And then I had another business after that called Soap and Glory.
Which I'm very familiar with.
Yeah,
yes, excellent.
Which I started, I think I must have been 34 or so, and I sold it to Walgreens Boots Alliance in 2014.
Wow, incredible.
And then I started an ergonomic footwear brand, which is footwear for super women, called FitFlop, which was really based on, footwear as a beauty product, footwear as something that really energized you and made you feel better, because I thought there wasn't really anything out there that did that was modern, that would be something that I would want to wear, but it was comfortable at the same time. Yeah. And I still own FitFlop. And then just recently, I started a new business called Beauty Pie.
Yes.
Which I think is my biggest one yet. So I'm super excited about it.
What is it about?
Okay, well, Beauty Pie is, it's a democratization of deluxe in the beauty industry. And I have been in the beauty industry for so long that I've learned, all the tricks in terms of how to formulate great products. I used to give facials for 9 hours a day, so I really know which kind of ingredients work on which skin types. And one of the things that I realized was sort of unfair to the customer was the typical retail model of beauty. If you sell through a retailer, in order to make money as a business or as a normal brand, you have to mark the product up about 1,000% from the factory cost to the retail cost. Yes. And that means that a woman who's buying beauty products is actually, she's getting 10% for her money. Right. And the other 90% goes into either marketing or it goes to the retailers or it goes to the overheads. And I just thought, you know what? This isn't modern anymore. Right. It's not what women want. Very few of us really feel like we identify with a brand now more than we identify with our own brands. And I saw a fantastic slide, which was part of somebody's presentation at a conference. It was a beauty industry leaders conference. And it said that, right now there are millions of women whose own personal brands are more important to them than any brand that they buy from. And it struck a real chord in my head because I thought, God, 90% of what you're paying for when you buy a beauty product is the brand. Yeah. But if your own personal brand is more important to you, and it is to most people now. Correct. Everyone has their Facebook page. Everyone has an Instagram page. Yeah, why pay 10 times more to have somebody's name stamped on your product? Right, right. So having already a huge following, because I've been in beauty for such a long time, and at Bliss we probably ended up, when I sold the business, with 100,000 different customers. And then again at Soap and Glory it was the same kind of thing. Yeah. And people really know that I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I thought, why not just do something where people can join my club and I will go find the best beauty products, the best luxury formulated beauty products in the world from all the best factories that I've worked with for the last 30 years. Yeah. And if you're part of the club, you can buy them at the factory cost rather than this 10-time markup cost. Right. And I just think, who wouldn't do that.
Right.
Right?
What a brilliant idea.
It's
incredible.
modern, and you know
Incredible.
what? It's freedom.
Yes.
It's freedom to go and to try and formulate a product to make it the best product possible, rather than thinking, I need to sell this for 50 or I need to sell this for 100. Therefore, to make enough to pay my rent, I can only spend 10 making it.
Yeah.
I'll go to the factory and say, okay, give me the best anti-aging product that you can with 4 types of hyaluronic acid. I want this kind of peptide. I want this, this, and this. Give me the best thing.
Wow.
And it's a very different way to look at product development, and it's so honest.
Yeah.
I love it.
Love it.
I love it.
Thank you for explaining that. Well, I'm so glad that you're here, because on today's episode of Biz Chats, we're going to uncover, drumroll please, the secrets behind building a successful membership-based business. So we've got a fabulous store in store for you. On today's episode, we're going to be chatting about the principles behind disrupting the membership-based business industry, how to raise your value proposition on the front end of a membership-based business, the benefits of bringing a brutally honest brand into this industry, and more. So without further ado, we're going to play a game that I like to call "Cause It's Just Emojis." Bling! There they go, so pretty. So as always, the premise of this game is to choose 2 emojis that best describes the benefits of a membership-based business. And for our audience members at home, you already know what to do. So sound off in the comments now and share with us 1 emoji that you best believe describes the benefits of a membership-based business. And we're going to shout out some of the best answers we receive. But until then, I've been waiting to play this game for you. Kick us off with your first emoji.
Okay, now this is specific to Beauty Pie, actually, because
All
not
right.
every membership-based business is going to be the same. But I chose the flexed bicep muscle.
All right,
to
flex
show
up.
to show strength.
Yeah.
And to show that we can have more strength in terms of being a customer, and the more of us there are, the stronger we are in terms of buying power, in terms of being able to go and negotiate with factories and with suppliers, to be able to bring our muscle together to get a better deal for every customer who joins.
I love that. Very creative and very abstract. Awesome. So my first emoji selection is the 100. Keep it 100. So for me, I think when you look at a membership-based business, you're clearly building a community of people that believe in your product just as much as you do, right?
Yes.
But moreover, and I think you've done an excellent job at this, you're really transparent with your
Everything.
just your audience, and you're getting their pure feedback. They're keeping it 100 with you. If they like a product, they're going to let you know. If they want a product to be tweaked, they'll let you know. If for whatever reason you sold out a product and they want it back, they're going to let you know. That's the best way to really keep that open line of dual communication and really build that organic community from the ground up.
Yeah.
So
Nice one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and what is your second emoji?
Balance.
I
Okay,
love
1,
it.
because I'm a Libra.
Yes.
So it just spoke to me when I was looking for my emojis.
Yeah.
And 2, because I think previous to Beauty Pie, the beauty industry had gotten a little off balance. Right? You were paying for things that maybe weren't necessarily benefiting you anymore.
Sure.
And by being able to be more democratic about it and pay the actual cost for the product, it brings the balance back to the customer.
Yeah.
So the benefits go back into the hands of the customer, and that should be where it is.
And which
anyway.
they appreciate tremendously, I know.
I think they love it.
Awesome. All right. And my second emoji is the unicorn. Look at how cute. So when you look, again, looking at membership-based businesses, you look at, what is it, Pure, like the Dollar Shave Club,
Yes.
and I think Blue Apron. When you look at these companies, they've built up these businesses from the ground up, and they've reached like billion-dollar valuations. The power of building a business with this structure, the success is through the roof, and the sky is the limit. So why not kind of pick and prod and think of what industries are looking for for someone to go in and disrupt it,
You know,
and
Tracy,
really bring
you're
that
so right.
competitiveness
You're
to
so
the
right.
market.
And you have to do something quite scary.
Correct.
This Beauty Pie is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Because never before has anyone gone to the luxury industry and said, you know what, here's what a lipstick actually costs to make.
Come
It's
on.
an Italian lipstick, it's a luxury lipstick, it's as
Yeah.
good as any other lipstick, better than most lipsticks, but really it costs $2.81. And that was pretty scary, you know, to come out having
And be
been in the normal,
transparent.
in the normal beauty industry for a long time, following somebody else's rules. And I think I just got over it, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to follow anybody else's rules
I want to
anymore.
make my own. Come on. Spoken
wanna
like a
make-
true boss. Come on.
I want to make my own. I want to make it
Yeah.
really, the transparency and the honesty
Yeah.
of being able to just say, here's what it is, and you can have it
Yeah.
like everybody else,
Yeah.
and we're all equal. it's a wonderful thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So guys, now it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of this chat. Viewers, I hope you're hungry for some awesome information. It is time to dish the deets. So, you hear the clinking?
Yeah,
So
I heard
cute.
those, yes.
So for our
Were
audience,
those dishes?
those
Yeah.
were, and glasses as
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yep.
So for our audience members at home, as always, we want to know what questions you have too. So now's your time to sound up in the comments below any questions you have for Marcia about membership-based businesses or serial entrepreneurship, and she's going to answer them a little bit later. Until then, are you ready to answer some questions about your business?
I am ready.
All right, awesome. So question 1, what inspired you to create this disruption in the membership beauty-based business? And, you know, again, people are calling this the Netflix of beauty. So how did you get to this point in your business?
First, what inspired me?
Yeah.
I think I always have really historically built businesses
Yeah.
because there was something missing that I wanted for myself.
Right.
It's always the easiest way. It's not always what entrepreneurs do, and sometimes they start with a business plan. But I always start with the fact that there's something missing, and I want it for myself. And then I think, well, if I want it, there must be other women
Other
out there who
people
want
want
it.
it, yeah.
And having sold Soap and Glory, I went back into a place where I didn't receive free samples from all of these third-party labs anymore. And I would go into airports on business trips for my footwear business, and I would be missing, for instance, a face cream. And I'd go into the duty-free, and the good or better or luxury face creams would be $250 or $300. And I knew what they really cost to make, and it was very, very hard to buy them.
Yeah.
And I just thought, this isn't fair for me. I've seen how much things cost. I used to get them for free for so many years because the third-party labs,
Yeah.
they produce for everybody.
Right.
But many of us use the same product, but we put different labels on them. And I wanted everybody to have that experience of being able to just be a kid in a candy shop, but with their
Yeah.
cosmetics.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's a really good analogy.
It was
yeah.
missing, so that was my
Yeah,
inspiration.
excellent. Here's a part 2 for you. So what are some principles entrepreneurs should keep in mind if they're looking to create that same type of disruption in another field?
I think, number 1, you really have to believe it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how successful you can be if you're creating your idea and you're creating your business around a business model or a business plan that you really don't need yourself. I think it's much harder. And when you're disruptive, right, you do get the wrath of other people in the business who might be doing it the old way and not like the fact that you're exposing parts of the old model.
That's true.
And you have to really believe, I really believe that this is so much better for women and for us, 4% of men.
Yeah. Well, your army, you have beauty pies and beauty
Yeah, we
guys.
have pie girls and pie guys.
Yes, I
and there
love it.
are pie guys.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we know that there are a small percentage of men.
Sure,
so we
sure.
want to include them as well. Men need to look good too.
Everyone needs to look and present themselves in their best light, right?
Yeah,
So,
but you have to believe it's something worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
And so me being quite democratic, and I've always been very egalitarian like that, I really believe that this is a much better deal for women.
love it. Love it. Awesome. We're going to dive into question 2.
Okay.
So how does a growing membership-based business convince the customers of quality
Right.
to their products without using traditional, marketing tactics? So how did you raise that value proposition on the front end?
Right. So that's a great question, actually.
Thank
and it's
you.
probably one of the things that has been the biggest challenges for us because the markup is so high between factory cost and luxury normal, typical cost.
Yeah.
At the beginning, people couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So when we first went around with, here's what we're about to do, and here's what product really costs, even the beauty editors at some of the leading beauty magazines, they actually couldn't believe what the real costs of those products were coming out of a factory.
Sure.
So that was a bit tricky because if the beauty editors can't even believe it, you
Right.
realize that you've got some education to do.
Yeah.
And of course, the beauty industry has done a fantastic job. And there is value in that for some people. Some people really identify with a tribe or with a brand, and they want to
Yeah.
pay more just to feel
Right.
like they're part of that tribe and that brand.
Absolutely.
For us, it's about reaching the other people who really don't care.
Right.
They just want great products.
Sure.
So what we've done is been quite specific about how we lay out our product pages so that people can see what the typical cost would be at
Yes.
retail for an item of a similar quality.
Right.
And we have that price on our pages, but then we also have what the members factory price would be.
To show that comparison.
Yes,
As to
and-
where the value lies.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we've also we've been super fair about it and made sure we we took that comparison, or we took the level and we went out and looked at the different products that were at the same level, and then we actually made ours a little bit lower, and it's still a crazy comparison. So we've done that. Of course, we use different visual cues, so we make sure that our photography is quite luxurious.
And her Instagram is popping, y'all. Okay,
yeah, thank you very much. And we have beautiful product, because we don't have to go in and go, we need to save a bit on that. Let's try and value engineer it down. We just go and find the most beautiful ones. So that's also a cue. And then, of course, happy members talking about how great their products are.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's the easiest and most organic way to build a business.
Come on, word of mouth.
Word of mouth is it. And if your product isn't great for what you're offering, and you don't have a remarkable proposition,
keeping it 100,
you got to keep it 100.
Yeah,
no,
I love it.
Yeah, so I think that makes it easier, and it makes it organic. Of course, when you've got running costs that are high because you're trying to do something that has a lot of infrastructure, you have sometimes, you think, well, we've got to do this faster, we've got to do, something else, but never make that decision that doesn't increase your customers' trust.
Yeah.
So I think I read that somewhere, and I thought this is one of the best things you could ever say to anybody who's thinking about starting a business.
That's major.
The correct decision is the one that increases your customers' trust, and that always will get you farther in the end than making a snap decision that's based on getting it in faster or whatever that other decision might be.
Love it. Awesome. We're going to dive into question 3.
Okay.
So what's the best way to find and keep new members and entice them to continue to buy your products, since the user, being a membership-based business, they're faced with 2 costs, which are the membership cost plus whatever products they're looking to buy?
Yes. Okay. Well, in fact, the membership cost is really low.
It is, actually, yes. $10.
It's $10 a month, or you can pay very soon $99 a year.
Okay.
And for $99 a year, you basically enter the back door of probably 20 of the best factories around the world for luxury cosmetics and pay the factory cost with no markup. Now, if you put it this way, if you went and bought one Swiss anti-aging cream that was $150, right? You'd probably, the real cost of that is about $15.
Sure.
So in 1 month, for less than the cost of your yearly membership, you've saved more money than you've spent.
Right.
So we have a little calculator that we're building so that people can go on site and figure out, if I buy this, this, and this, how much does it?
Some people are more visual, so they might need to actually see that for
and
themselves.
do it. Yes, because it's, again, you kind of can't believe it, and some people get scared of math. But in the end, when you work out how Beauty Pie works, you end up paying for the same luxurious, high-value product, about 20 cents on the dollar, including your membership.
Right, and that's probably what's getting the people to stay at the end of the day, because they're seeing, okay, I'm paying this amount of money, but it's really worth every dime.
Yes.
So that's what's keeping them around.
You know what's really great? When you see people who join, we have a 3-month minimum, because we need to forecast.
Right.
So you have to plan how much inventory you need, and you can't do that if people kind of pop in and out.
That's like the mindset of an entrepreneur, always thinking ahead as well.
You have to, because you don't want to disappoint people.
Right.
So we've had some people who came in for 3 months, bought their stuff, and then said, well, I'm done my 3-month minimum, and stopped their membership, and then they come back.
Okay.
Because once you pay factory, it's really hard to pay retail.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, we're going to dive into question 4. So what threat do massive behemoth-sized companies like Amazon, they're making their own versions of these types of services. So when they're producing a product at a lower cost and distributing them out, is there a secret behind, beating these behemoth-sized businesses?
Sure. I think there are a few secrets, and for a lot of different businesses besides my own. With Beauty Pie, we literally don't have any markup on the product, like 0.
Nothing,
Right, so Amazon can't do that.
That's true,
because you can't ship for free if you have 0 markup.
Right.
So in the end, you've got to make money somewhere.
Somehow,
And so most companies, it's the same thing. A lot of companies will say, oh, you get free shipping. But that shipping cost is just built into the markup.
In somewhere,
nothing is free.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
We all love something. We think it's a free deal. There are no free deals. So in the end, that total transparency is not Amazon's business model. If they shipped all of their product with the actual factory cost without marking it up, there'd be no money to pay there.
That's true.
And they're shipping for free, and they're
right.
So it's very different. It's the same. Costco is a similar model where you pay, I think, $59 or something for a yearly membership.
Correct.
But when you walk in that door, you're still paying a markup.
You are.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Beauty Pie, you pay 0 markup,
Yeah.
and it's almost like a software business. So you pay for your software,
Yeah,
right? But then you
yeah.
get all of the updates and all of the
Yeah,
upgrades as long as you pay
yeah.
your yearly membership.
That's a good
So that's
point.
what Beauty Pie is actually more like software as a service
Yeah, that's a
than
good
anything
point.
else. We're
Yeah.
like sourcing as a service.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. Any other secrets you have?
Gosh, I've got millions of them. How
Okay.
long do you have?
Not long, okay. We're going to dive into question 5. So, with Beauty Pie, you've made it a priority to be completely transparent with your audience and your consumers about the factory prices of your products. So, what are the benefits of just being a completely transparent brand, would you say?
I think it is a beautiful thing to have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
And when your only motivation is to find the very best product for your customer,
Right.
and you're paying, or they're paying what you're paying, you don't have to pretend anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's a real freedom to be able to provide that directly to the customer, because
Yes.
I don't know how you could possibly complain when what you're paying is actually what we're paying.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I guess, it's the idea of being able to do the right thing.
Yeah, is huge amongst consumers nowadays.
It
Huge.
really is. And there's nothing righter than just finding the very best thing you can
Yes.
and passing it along.
Yes.
It's like sharing a secret with a friend.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for answering those questions. For our viewers watching at home, don't forget we are still accepting your questions in our comment box below, so don't be shy. Now's your time to ask Marcia any questions you have about membership-based businesses or serial entrepreneurship in the comment box below, and she'll be answering them very soon. So we're going to switch gears. It's time to get into our next segment called the Fierce 5. Marcia is going to break down the 5 top tips any entrepreneur needs to know when looking to build a successful membership-based business. We've got our timer set at 5 minutes. So viewers, grab your pens and let's get fierce.
This one is stressful.
It's all you.
Okay, number 1 is listen to your customers. They're always telling you what to do. And I love this, and this is why I really love social media. And actually, I give a lot of advice on social media to people. So they'll now email me and say, my skin is doing this, or I've got rosacea, or I've got this problem or that problem. What should I use? And being able to get that feedback, being able to understand their questions, being able to use social media in such a dynamic way to understand what your customers want, and to be able to understand what you're maybe not communicating properly to them is an incredible way to understand in real time what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And I think making sure that you listen to them and you're not defensive, and they're your members, so they're telling you what they need, it's like having a big team, and everybody wants it to do well because everybody's benefiting.
Yeah.
So I think number 1 would be listen to your customers and follow them,
Yeah.
right? Number 2, don't expect everyone to understand something that's disruptive overnight. We talked about this
We did,
a little
yes.
bit earlier. Sometimes people just cannot understand something that might be newer and much better. And I've talked to a lot of people about this who had similarly disruptive businesses, and some of them said that it took 2 years before the public really understood what was going on. And you can see that. So there have been great companies that came before us who do something similar, but maybe not exactly the same. One of them being, for instance, Everlane. Right? Everlane, which we all probably have shopped from at one point, apparently went around for 2 years before saying normal markup 8 times, Everlane markup 2.5 times. And they repeated this over and over again for 2 years. So Beauty Pie, luxury quality product, factory prices, that's so disruptive. And like we said, the difference between the two is very often a multiplier of 10. And that, that's hard for people to get their heads around. So we're just repeating ourselves over and over again until all those beauty product junkies out there can believe what good luck they have to have stumbled upon it. Number 3, remember to leave your ego outside the building. Okay? And this is tough for everybody because we all have egos to one extent or another. And I think that the present times and the present business, they don't really allow for it. Like there is no room in the room for ego. We know you've got to have a personality, and you have to have something different about yourself or about your business or about your brand. But you can't let that interfere with the data that you're getting and interfere with the messages that you're getting from your customers. You still have to have a vision, but you have to make sure that you leave your ego at the door. Number 4, a picture is worth 1,000 words. A video, maybe 10,000. Here I am today on video, because it does seem like we can explain how Beauty Pie works in writing in a really thorough way. But if we get on video for 30 seconds, more people understand video in 30 seconds than want to read. And that's just a sign of the times.
Yeah.
It may go back to being the other way, but right now, you've got to do what
the Romans are doing.
Yeah, do what the Romans are doing. And the Romans are watching a lot of video right now. So, fail, number 5. Number 5 is fail fast and move forward. And like Hillary Clinton said, take negative feedback seriously, but not personally. So you got to try things. They might be wrong. That's okay. It's not saying something about yourself.
Yeah.
What says something about yourself as a business person is whether or not you listen to that and move on it, or if you're stubborn and you sit there and waste time and waste money very often by not changing whatever your tactics are. So I think it's about moving and listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 113, you killed it.
Did I?
You did excellent.
Where was I?
I mean, you did.
I have
112. You did a great job.
I did?
Yes.
I didn't know. Okay, thank
Under
I didn't
5
really
minutes.
know that I was being timed.
You were.
Should I fill in the
Yes.
other 1 minute?
No, you're
Okay.
perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your Fierce 5 with everyone.
That is
was
such a pleasure.
Excellent. That was excellent. So, now we've reached the part of the show where we're going to be opening up the floor for any audience questions we might have received from earlier, and we have a couple queued up for you.
Okay.
So here's a question from Sarah. She wants to know, were you able to create this business because of your relationship with the other factories?
Yes.
If you didn't have these connections, would you have still been able to create Beauty Pie?
Sarah, I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
And actually, it certainly helped that I had these relationships with the factories for the
Sure.
last 25 years. They've seen my different businesses that I've
Yes.
rolled out and seen that they were all a success and that I brought them a lot of business.
Yeah.
So there is a trust there in terms of, how we work together,
Right.
knowing that there was that respect and that I knew what I was doing and wouldn't spin their wheels.
Right.
Sure, if you are starting and you have no track record, I think, as with anything, it's difficult.
A little hesitancy there, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, now, and these factories, they do supply for a lot of different big brands, but they don't know what the next big brand is going to be.
Come on.
And I think the
Right.
world is in such a state of flux in terms of retail. Different
Yeah.
brands, new brands pop up all the time, and they might be the next big thing
Right.
or not. And everybody has to hedge their bets.
Come on.
Yeah,
Because they could be
so-
working with the next unicorn. So I'm telling you.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for answering that question. We have a few more. I'm going
It's a
to
pleasure.
call out Jennifer. She
Okay.
wants to know, how long did it take from conception to production to create Beauty Pie?
Okay, so it was Jennifer?
Yes.
Jennifer, we launched last December, so we're almost a year old,
Oh,
which is nothing,
wow.
right?
Oh, my
It's like
goodness.
nothing.
Almost happy birthday to you guys.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long year.
Wow.
Yeah, but a great year, but
Yes.
so much learning.
Yeah.
Prior to that, because product development takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, our business is a little bit heavy in terms of how much work goes behind it,
Yeah.
because it's not just about programming tech and finding you a
Right,
car
right.
and then being able to get that car faster. We actually
Right. Mm-hmm.
have to have product behind it, and a lot goes into product development. So not only do you find the best roll-up eyeshadow stick,
Mm-hmm.
right, but you have to find the packaging for it. The packaging takes 6 months to
Right,
order. You have to
right.
test that packaging. You have to drop it onto the floor to make sure that the product is stable and
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
crack.
yeah.
You have to test it in heat. You have to test it in sort of like a truck environment where it might be
Yeah,
shaking around to
extreme
make
weather,
sure.
yeah, all that,
this.
yeah, wow.
So you have to do that with each product. Now we've launched probably over 400 products so far
Wow.
in
And
a short
counting.
space of time. Oh, and continuing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you've got to have the variety.
You do, you
yeah.
do, yeah.
And so it's a lot of work from the product development end. Probably about 18 months of product development for our first launch, and then of course we produce more products. Every
Yeah.
week we're launching new products
Yeah.
at Beauty Pie.
Follow their Instagram, you'll check it out yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So for the sake of time, there's one more thing we have to do before we let you go. It is time for our major key alert.
Major key.
Major key. So, Marcia, if you were to share one final major key on the secret behind building a successful membership-based business, what would it be?
I think, as you said, can you hold up that 100?
Yes, I can.
Okay, in a membership-based business, everybody is a stakeholder, right? So everyone is just as important as the next person. So you have to have that conversation that goes around. You have to listen to what your members want. You have to listen to what you're missing. You have to understand, if you do lose people, why? What aren't you providing for them? And you have to understand what makes them excited and what makes people join.
Yeah.
So it's a teamwork kind of thing, and it's about listening to those members and remembering part of checking your ego at the door,
Yeah.
that they're just as important as you are
Yeah.
in that whole process,
Yeah.
and really wanting to work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Beautifully spoken. Awesome. Well, guys, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's Biz Chats. I'd like to give a special shout out to Marcia for joining us today. So, to stay up to date on Marcia's future projects and endeavors, be sure to follow Marcia at marcia.kilgore on all her social media. And lastly, if you're intrigued by Beauty Pie and you want to join the ever-growing army, please visit www.beautypie.com for more information. So until next time, from me to you at Mashable HQ, this is Tracy and Marcia signing out with one final reminder: you don't need a degree to be a #HPIC. See you next time.